Inside. Welcome, everyone. Just want to, say that first of all. I should have checked. I'm not really sure how long this webinar lasts. I think it's like 45 minutes. It's not on my notes. I'm sure Jamie will tell me, but it's not too long. Don't worry. It's not that boring. But this webinar is called Inside Insight. How the right group can tell you everything about anything. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Looking in depth at insights and data you can pull out of Facebook groups to help you build campaigns and inform your social media strategy. Facebook's put a big emphasis on groups over the last 12 months, and it still remains a big focus as they look to, quote, spark conversations and meaningful interactions. So Facebook groups are notorious in the industry for their lack of insights, compared to pages. And it's changing now. We're seeing a little bit more from Facebook on that front. So more updates, more external software available than ever. And today we're going to give you the tools necessary to pull insights that you didn't know were possible. So Facebook only give you so much, and we're going to show you some examples of how we get a lot more data out of our Facebook groups. So whether you're looking to start a community yourself or use existing groups like On a Budget, there hasn't been a better time to engage in Facebook groups. Before we go on, I'll tell you a little bit about Electric House. If I can work this. Oh, there we go. I think I skipped one too far ahead. I'll just go back. Oh, no, it's right. I've got to introduce myself first. I feel like there's a slide missing there. This webinar's going well. But before that, I'm going to introduce myself. So I'm Adam Barrie. I'm the co-founder and the chief content officer at Electric House, which means I just support the teams doing the actual work. I just sit there and don't really do much. But yeah, my job is to oversee the. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's doing it on its own now. But yeah, my job is to oversee the communities and all the social platforms that they sit on. Okay, I am going to try and get to the bottom of this because it's. There we go. There we go. The two slides were just mixed up. That's all it was. What is Electric House? So a little bit about Electric House and I guess why we're qualified to talk about groups. So Electric House is a social media publishing group. We create content, we publish content, and then we distribute content through our own communities and the communities of our clients. And I'll come on to the sort of the three communities that sit within it in a second. We've got lots of Facebook groups that sit under the Electric House banner, ranging from our Women's on the Tools group with 2,000 members to our flagship group, DIY on a Budget Official. I think that's now at 2.1 million members. So it just shows you the scope there. And overall, we've got 23 Facebook groups with a total following of around about 3.6 million, all closed Facebook groups. We're not showing off, by the way. I just wanted to sort of show you that, we practice what we preach, and there's a little bit of credibility there. Time to introduce the speakers. Okay, we've got some fantastic guests today. We've got Toni, who's the founder of On a Budget, and is the Facebook Groups Director at Electric House. On a Budget is a community for problem solvers and money savers, and it started as a Facebook group, and we now have one of the largest DIY social followings in the UK. Next up, we have Aditya, who is the Director of Growth at Convosight. So Convosight is the world's first community management platform. So it's got, I think it's got over 6,000 Facebook group admins that trust Convosight to manage over 170 million members. And it helps them increase engagement, reduce spam, and become community entrepreneurs. And then we have Kate, who is the founder of the Motherload Facebook group. So the Motherload is a parenting community with an important difference. It's non-judgmental. Yes, it actually is non-judgmental, not like a lot of Facebook groups, and completely smug-free. And I've got a quote here. Sure, we are proud of our kids, but we don't pretend that motherhood is a serene breeze or that we get it right all the time. And we have nearly 60,000 amazing Molos. Have I got that right, Kate?
No, 106. It's 106,000.
I've got the notes here, so I'll blame Jamie for that, Kate. But yeah, so 106,000. So yeah, some incredible guests there that are going to show us all the great things that we can get out of Facebook groups. Okay, first up, we've got Toni. So me and Toni are going to talk through Facebook groups. We're going to talk through some ways that you can get stats out of groups, show you what Facebook actually provide, and then some really good examples of what we do to then extract more data and more value from the groups. The slide here at the minute is just doing it on its own, guys. So I do apologize. It just keeps flicking back and forth on my screen, but hopefully it's okay for you. So, Toni, how are you?
Yeah, well, thank you.
Very good. I'm battling here with this presentation, Toni. I keep pressing the button, but it's not working. But yeah, I just wanted you to give a little introduction to On a Budget, please. So, take it right back to the beginning if you want.
Okay. So On a Budget was set up in April 2014, and it started with DIY on a budget. And that was set up purely because at the time I was a cleaner and I couldn't afford for a tradesperson to come into my house and do the work for me. So I decided to start doing some little jobs around the house. And then after a night of drinking lots of wine, I decided to wallpaper my living room wall, feeling quite proud of myself and actually realising that there must have been a lot of other women at first aimed towards, like me, that didn't have the money to pay a tradesperson to come into the house. Set up DIY on a budget, and it grew super fast. So we added 600 members sort of overnight, about 6,000 in the week. And it did take a while to hit the 100,000 mark. I think it took about 3 years. But after we hit that, we hit the million in a year, and currently sitting at 2.1 million. So yeah, it went bonkers. And then off the back of that, we realized by listening to our community and seeing what they were trying to post, that there was room for other groups. So gardening, crafts and cleaning was born. And they're all really big groups within their own right now. I think gardening's just hit the 400k mark, which is super exciting because the summer hasn't started yet when it's going to get super busy. And now we've got, I think, 13 groups.
You've got that many groups. You don't even know how many there are.
No, I'm not sure. We keep setting up new ones.
What are sort of the main ones? You want to try and list them out? I'm going to test you now.
So the main ones, DIY on a budget obviously is the biggest one that we've got, followed by gardening, crafts and cooking, and then we've got cleaning comes quite close underneath cooking, but the four main ones, so DIY, gardening, crafts and cooking. They're all things that you can do on a budget. So yeah, the content that flows through them is pretty insane. They're very busy.
Absolutely love it. So let's start looking at some. If this, it does work. The presentation's working. There we go.
Yeah.
Start looking at some of the data that Facebook groups actually give you, because it is quite limited, isn't it, Toni? I bet the first few years of your journey, you just pulling your hair out because
the first few years we didn't have anything. Nothing at all. I couldn't even tell you how many posts I'd approved. I just knew it was a lot. So
it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think with the whole data sort of thing that's gone around Facebook and there being closed groups, it's always been difficult for Facebook to present stats back to us. And with the limited data, there's not that much you can actually do with it. But we'll come on to some of the sort of stuff we do to extract our own data.
Yeah.
What data do they tell us about?
So they will give you now how many posts that you've approved you can change this as well. There's settings, so you can have a look at a custom time frame, which is amazing. So you can see how many have gone in per day, and you can see how many reactions and how many comments have gone through the group in any particular time. And this is really, really good for sort of making sure that you're going in the right direction. People aren't just suddenly, stop interacting with the group, because that would sort of indicate that you've got a problem with your content. And then we can see as well how many people have been active per day, which is really good, because we know and can pre-plan when we're going to be busy and when we need to get in more help.
Yeah, so you can start spotting trends of sort of like, I guess, downtime and as well, if the conversations are drying up, I guess that's an opportunity for you to think, okay, how do I step in now and spark conversations?
Definitely.
It's insane though. That screenshot, that's a real screenshot, right? That's 1 million comments
that's
in a
one
month.
I took the other day. Yeah.
In 27 days.
That's
is insane, isn't it?
Yeah, 28 days. Yeah, it's
million
crazy.
comments. It's like
And
a
we
super
have
group.
to sort of try and regulate them. We do rely on the members to help us moderate content, because it's just it's an impossible job for just a couple of people.
No, true. I think we've got a little bit on admins as well, haven't we, later on? So we can
Yeah.
discuss that in a bit more detail. So last month's insight. So we've got here a screenshot, and I've actually never seen this before on Facebook
Yeah, this
groups.
is very new.
Is it new? Okay. Is this been
Yes.
rolled out to everyone yet, Tony? Or
No, I don't think everybody's got it. We took part in the test, so we've had it quite a while, but I am still seeing some groups that haven't got it yet. There's no sort of rhyme or reason in the way that Facebook rolled it out. You just get it when you get it. But this is amazing, and it's something that has made pitching for campaigns extremely easy, because you can then go back and give a report. The issue that we always had was, okay, we can win a campaign and we can carry the campaign out for a brand, but then after that we couldn't report back on how well the campaign had done, and then that made it really, really hard to obviously give them confidence that, yeah, actually your campaign done well, but then spotting out any mistakes that we made and how to improve ourselves. So this is amazing. This is a very good example of a post, UGC content that came in last month. And this is the stats that it was sitting on yesterday. So you can see here that this content, for a start, it didn't make anybody angry, which is brilliant, because if you get too many of them, you
made
need to
one
look
person cry though, Tony.
Yeah, it was quite a sad. Well, it's not a sad post. Inspiring post. It was about a young boy with autism that uses upcycling of furniture to manage his condition. So it was a very heartwarming and emotional post, and the members loved it. But as you can see from the engagement, this is a stat. Well, it's an insight that I love. So other clicks here means that these are the people that have gone off of Facebook to go and look at what this guy's doing outside.
Brilliant.
So it's a really good way to drive traffic.
I love that. Yeah. And the thing with like data is the more data you can get out, the more of a story it tells.
Yeah.
And then you can start building that into your strategy, like you said. So yeah, hopefully they keep upping their game and giving us more data on groups.
I think they will. Definitely.
Oh, there we go. It's coming through. So let's talk about sort of the other side of the data that they supply you, and I guess what benefits we can get from them.
Yeah, so member growth is something that, again, we haven't had that long where we could see it like this. You'd know that you'd approved a lot of members, but you didn't have a breakdown. So over the past couple of years, Facebook gave us sort of this, how many you've approved, how many you've blocked, and how many you've declined. So it's always nice to have a look at this and just see. So we take a record every month and we keep it in a slide. So I can see that how much we've grown, if we've had any drops, and then that's a good indication of sort of, okay, we've grown loads this month. Let's look at why. Are people talking about us outside the group? Is Facebook recommending us? It's just nice to know where your members are coming from.
Brilliant. Top posts.
Yeah, I love this.
What are the benefits of being able to see like the top posts?
So for us, it just shows sort of what our members are engaging in, what does well, which is always fantastic. Who's providing the group as well with good content, because they're people that we can reach out to as well and work with on the side. But it also gives us inspiration for our own posts. We have a page on a budget and we create content for the group. So it's always nice to be able to look in this and see what they're already talking about and answer their questions within the work that we do in the office. And also just to be able to see the sheer numbers, some of it's just outstanding.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm just looking, popular posting times. It's at one point they didn't even have that in there.
No,
and it's just mad, isn't it, to think that you've got people running groups alongside their businesses or as part of their business, and they can't even see when the most popular time is. But now that's been sorted, hasn't it?
Yeah, and this even helps sort of from an admin point of view. If we need to reach the most amount of people, if we've got a new message to send out, we can have a quick look on here and we'll know when is the best time for us to post that content to get more eyes on it. And again, for branded work as well, it works really well.
Love it. Okay, membership stats. This when I seen this on the deck, I was really interested because some of the figures on these membership stats are insane. So do you want to just talk us through the top image there, which is top contributors?
Yeah, so this is quite new as well. So we get given the top 10. I'd love to see more, but I reckon it would go on forever. There's not normally a big gap between the top member and the top 100th member, because they all comment so much. But so this is, for us, we can look at what they're doing, look at their comments, go to them if we ever need admin help. These are the people to reach out with. We would tag these members sometimes in content that isn't really getting much interaction, because they've proven here that they're more than likely to comment and offer some assistance. And then that in turn will keep our engagement up, keep members coming back as well, because they realise that there is people there to help them.
Yeah, it looks like Sarah Oldham there has got an addiction, because she's commented 663 times in 28 days.
Yes,
I mean, that's quite difficult to do, I think.
And yeah, and it's nice to see as well that actually she's been a member for 3 years, so she isn't getting bored of our content.
Yeah, I love it. And what's nice to see, actually, third one down there, you've got Manda 4 weeks ago, and obviously just found the group, and he's just
She's addicted. Yeah, she's invested now.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So just on that, because I think there's going to be people on this who are looking either to set up a Facebook group, who are maybe in the early stages.
Yeah.
Why do you need to sort of find admin? Like how much time does it actually take up of yours? Is it a 9 to 5?
100%. It definitely is. I couldn't do it by myself, and at the moment it's a 9 to 5 for about 5 people. So we're lucky that we did use this top contributors list to find admin over the years, and a lot of them are still with us. So my main admin, Carol, she's now an employee of Electric House, but before that she was just a volunteer, and she helped me for, I think I've had her for about 5 years now. So this list works, but without them I couldn't do it, because it's around the clock.
Yeah,
busy.
I should imagine, popular posting times are probably evenings when people have finished work.
And Sundays.
Put the kids to bed. Yeah, so probably the worst time for you then, isn't it? Your time on a Sunday evening, and the group's on fire. But no, I think it's a really good insight to see who's invested in the group and getting that support from them, because if they're that invested in it and they love it and they're always commenting and liking, there's a very good chance that they're going to want to become an admin.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also when you're first starting out, always, you're not going to put in as much time as when it gets really busy, but still set that time aside, because you need to set the tone, you need to set the topic and start the group as you mean to go on, and people will follow your lead.
Yeah. And so do you know if this is available to anyone who starts a group, or is this another test phase?
No, this is available to everybody.
It's available to everyone. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously at the bottom there, we've got the demo of the age and gender and locations.
Yeah. And even I'm surprised that actually a group with the title DIY has stayed 79% female. I did think that over the years that would shift, but it hasn't. So
yeah, it's really interesting actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, market research. So these are like there's a few ways that they do allow you to extract data, but a lot of this is basically from you, I guess, thinking like how do I find out the answer to this? Yeah. So how does market research, how do you get market research from the group?
To be fair, I feel that one of the best ways of getting market research from a group is asking questions and then listening to the answers. So for this one, they want to know which scheme is the best, and this A or B technique works extremely well. This post probably got about 1,000 comments in 2 hours, and it's amazing for that brand to then be able to see, okay, this is where we go from now. But also just scrolling the group and seeing what's popular in the group. There is a tab at the top of every group that changes the posting, so I can see most recent and top posts. So if you go to top posts and you have a look through, a company can use that to plan their own strategies. What are people talking about? So for example, I know that we've got the buyer for Wilkinson's in our group, and a few years back, loads of people like making unicorn stuff. So Wilkinson's have used that by just being a member of the group and reading the content to make their own range of unicorn products that they're now selling. So just being a member is perfect. And then polls, asking questions that you want to get answered, and the poll format means that people can give feedback in a really quick way. It's just a click of a button. So that's really engaging. And then, like I say, asking loads of questions.
Yeah, I love it. And it's one thing that I see in the groups, in particular the DIY group, is like fashion, and when things come into trend, I always see them in the DIY and a budget group way before
they
actually
end up in the shop.
100%. And that in itself market research. And I think if you're a brand, and it's difficult sometimes because there's certain, I get asked a question sometimes from what we'd class as like more like sort of like boring companies. So it might be an accountancy firm. And how would I set up a Facebook group? No one's going to join that. And I'm like, yeah, well, if you called it like, A and B accounting group, then maybe they wouldn't. But if you called it tax tips for new businesses, then they're potentially going to join that group, and they're going to have conversations to help each other out. And then you're there to sort of add that professional part
advice,
to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's anyone, I believe anyone can start a Facebook group, and it doesn't have to be like directly associated with,
as long as it's links. Yeah, because as long as you as a brand are offering some kind of value back to the members, they'll stick with you if you're helpful and become not so much their friend, but their place they go for advice.
Definitely. Yeah, you've got to provide that value. And I think that's key. And that's why, I will say to anyone, like, there's no reason why you can't set up a Facebook group. And they just sort of take hold, don't they? And they
So for example, when I first started working with DC Fix, I suggested that they set up a group, and we worked out, and we've done a strategy around it, and we decided not to call it DC Fix because they didn't want people to feel like they were just going to go in there and be sold to. So they called it Sticky Back Plastic, and the description is to help you with all your sticky back plastic projects. So they allow other brands to be spoken in there, but because they're the one brand that's consistently in there helping, they saw their sales rocket.
Right, got you. And I think the other reason why, a few people say to me as well, they wouldn't, is because if it does take off and it does work, it takes a lot of time.
It does, yeah.
So you've almost creating yourself a problem. I mean, I think it's a good problem to have, because it's not the sort of thing you can just set up and then leave alone. You have still got to moderate it. There is a lot of work you have to do when you become an admin of a group. But if they didn't, there's now you can now be like a brand group member, can't you? So you can go into groups now as a brand and still have those conversations.
In our groups anyway. I don't know if a lot of people have caught on to this monetization model that we are doing so well at, but yeah, we're finding that we're constantly getting asked by brands if they can come into our group. So we allow that on a paid monthly fee. We allow them to talk directly to our members, and it's lovely that they can come in and be a person under a brand name and talk to their customers directly in real time about products and ideas that they've got going on.
Yeah, and what I really like about that is it's not salesy, so you can join in with the conversation. So if someone was to say, where do we get the best grey paint from? It wouldn't be weird if Wilco stepped in and went, "We've got a sale on right now for grey paint. Here's the link," because they go, "Okay, fantastic, thank you."
Yeah, you're fixing the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Next up, driving traffic. Now, this is another biggie for me, because ultimately, that's what people want, don't they? They want to get that call to action. They want to either get people to the website, or they want a conversion. So talk to me about some ways that we've managed to do that.
Yeah, so we can do this in lots of ways. So you've got the example there where we'll just do a simple post, and obviously, being the owner and the admin of the group, we have that, we're allowed to post whenever we want, and just looking at how many posts go into your group per month or per day, you can work out how not to spam as well. So if you just get that balance right, the members then don't mind seeing posts like this, and it does help. So we've just set up TikTok, and I think we're sitting at around 3,000 members or followers on there now, and a lot of that has come from DIY groups and the other groups, so we like sort of send them over. And also on my own Instagram, I've done 1 or 2 posts in DIY on a budget asking them to follow me, and I've hit the 1,000 in a couple of weeks. So it really does work, and it works well. You do have to be mindful that you keep within Facebook's guidelines. They don't like you to push traffic to sort of, I don't know, YouTube or somewhere like that. But there is ways around doing that. So instead of putting an actual link into the top comment, if you put it if you put it in the caption. So if you put it into the top comment, your post will go further.
Yeah,
consistency with it as well.
No, it makes sense. Facebook have never wanted us to link out anywhere else, have they?
Yeah.
Limit the reach. But there are ways to do it. And I think
there is.
Doing it through content as well, because an amazing thing that that Facebook groups give you is content, and people don't think about that. So if you think about a Facebook page, you have to put content on that page. In fact, any other platform, really, you have to put content on there to get engagement back. The fantastic thing about Facebook groups is your members do it for you. So your members are the ones actually creating the content, putting it in there for the conversations to be had, and you can actually then get that content back out. So then you can then get that content off your members and start thinking, okay, this is what's really topical at the minute, it's what people talk about, and then distribute that across your other platforms. This is another thing there that I think people don't really think about when they're setting up a Facebook group. In the beginning, you probably have to start the conversation, and but once it gets to a certain size and you've got a lot of active members, you can almost step out of that, can't you?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And also as well, to drive traffic, if you've got a really good relationship and you've got good branding with your members, they're going to be looking for you anyway on other platforms. They'll see you pop up, and they already know you. They trust you from your group, so they don't think twice about clicking that follow or like button. It's natural to them.
Yeah, I think just final bit of advice before we hand over to Aditya is, if you are thinking about setting up a Facebook group alongside your business, always try and make that group the solution to whatever it is you're providing. So again, an example, if you're, I don't know, a provider, let's say you sell bikes, for endurance events and stuff like that, like road bikes, you could set up a group, like tips, tricks for first time athletes or triathlon or something like that. That way people are going to join that because they're after advice, they're new to the game. And then when they get to the stage where they need to purchase something, you swoop in with, here's the link, and that's when they link out and you can drive traffic to the website. And it's not like you're sort of going, here, buy this, because they're actually asking for it, aren't they? So I think always think along those lines. When you're pushing people away somewhere, just make sure that you're doing it in a way that they're going to get value from it.
Value, yeah. Value is that key word, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Toni. That was really insightful. Where can people find you if they want to follow your journey?
At Toni Trevillion on Instagram and Facebook.
Lovely. Cheers, Toni.
Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, fantastic. I really enjoyed that. But I'm going to now hand you over to Aditya.
Thank you, Adam.
No problem.
Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So thank you, Toni, for kind of sharing how Facebook Insights gives a lot of information about your group. So I am basically from Convosight, and Convosight is a platform that gives you additional insights than Facebook, and it helps you engage and grow your group better, and it helps you with advanced tracking, advanced insights, so that you can use this tracking and insights to kind of go and do campaigns with brands. So the way I would want to kind of start is that everything you need to know about your customers is in your group if you look hard enough. And what I'll do in the next few slides is just tell you how we do that using Convosight. Okay. So the first thing I would want to start with is what makes your members happy. All right. And we all have seen the moderation alerts feature in Facebook, wherein you can set up keywords which are spammy keywords. So we have a similar feature in Convosight where you can set up keyword alerts for keywords that are important to you. And what we believe is that keywords aren't just spam. keywords can be a lot of things. So what we allow you to do at Convosight is we allow you to make different queues or different reports. All right, wherein in every report you can kind of track specific keywords. So the one that you're seeing right now, it's called the positive impact report. And so this is one report which is very dear to my heart, at least, and I'll tell you why. Understand the fact that a group is a place where people come for support, they come for advice, they come for recommendations, they come to share, their problems, find solutions, share their successes. Okay. Now, when this happens in a community, when people share their problems and they find solutions, when they share their successes and community congratulates them, there's a positive, positive keywords kind of come out in the community. Okay. And what people kind of say in comments is thank you, thanks, good, great, amazing, congratulations, wow, all these words. What we do is we track all these words in the community. We see, so using this keyword alert feature, what we're able to do is that we're able to, track the comments and the posts where these thank you or positive impact keywords came. We go and see the context of that, we go into the context of that post, we see the context of the comment there, and we're able to then identify that what are the members liking, what are they enjoying the most, and what problems are being solved. And now that fuels insights that really tells us a lot more about our members in a subtle way. And we use those insights to create more content or, figure out more avenues of engaging our members. So this is how you can really tell what makes your members happy. Go into the second screen. Okay. And I'm not telling you everything what Convosight does. I'm going to leave something for you guys to go back, check it out, and come back to us. But just a few things which I felt which would be really, really useful for you. So the second thing that we tell you, and this is a part of our detailed analytics report. Now, if I had to ask you that what kind of content does well in your community? Is it a link post? Is it a video post? Is it a photo post? Or is it an event post? It's difficult to answer this question immediately, but at Convosight, what we do is we tag all your posts based on what kind of posts they are, link, video, image, or your event posts. And then we also see what is the engagement each of those posts is getting. So what that turns into is that in the last 30 days, you can see these graphs, you can easily see what is the post type distribution and what is the engagement per post type. So if I just, decipher this graph for you, the purple section, which is the video post, with the number of video posts is less, but you can see they garner about 18 to 19% engagement. So video posts are doing really fantastically well in the community. Then your status posts are about 44.1%. Status posts are basically text posts, but they gather only 30% of the engagement. So this is where, these posts eat up a lot of my prime space in the community, but they're kind of having lesser engagement. And for image posts, it's almost equal. They have about 47%, 47% posts coming in and about 49% engagement. So this really helps us understand how my users love to consume content, what is the kind of content they're consuming the most, where are they engaging and reacting the most at a 30-day or at a wholesome kind of a level, looking at all the posts in the last 30 days. The third thing, what are they talking about? So essentially, the reason we are called Convosight is because what we do is we understand conversations about in your community. So the superpower that we have is that we're able to get all the conversations happening in your community anonymously. We don't get any data about your members. What we get is your conversations happening in your community anonymously, and we have custom AI models that run on them and can give you insights as to what are the top 10 discussed topics. So you can see that, so this is a group in India, which is like a kids nutrition group. And you can see what are the top 10 discussed topics. So if I click on any of these, I can see what are the comments and what are the posts that are being discussed about. I can check out what are top 5 categories. That is not kind of visible here, but I can see my top 10 discussed topics. I can see my top 5 categories. What we've also started doing is we've started kind of labeling the keywords into issue keywords, remedy keywords, product keywords, brand keywords. So if you see, of the conversations, Cerelac, Aptamil, Dettol, peers have 8, 4, 2, and 1 mention each in the last, and this is the last 7 days. And products like juice, vegetable, fruits, cow milk, soup have 21, 16, 13 mentions each. So what we're able to tell you, what we're able to analyze is what are people talking about in your community, and tell you at an aggregate level what are the top topics or what are the top keywords, and what is the context in which they're kind of talking about them. Now this then gives you a lot of ideas as to what kind of content you can create. It will give you a lot of ideas as to what kind of brands you can go and collaborate with. So it's about, as I started when I started my presentation, everything that you want to know about your members is in your group if you look hard enough. And what we help you do is we help you look hard enough. I mean we just make looking hard enough the easy thing to do. So this is about conversation trends, and this is what conversation trends kind of tells you. Okay, so I think I had one more slide in that. So I'll just talk about that. So this is something which Toni also picked up. This was basically the top posts. So what Toni also showed us in the previous segment was the top posts and how you can see the top posts being done by admins and members in your community. Now for those top posts, so 2 important things that you can do with your top posts is your top posts tell you what is the content that your members love to engage with, what is the content they're commenting on, what is the content they are reacting to. So if you just look at that content, you'll be able to find a lot more ideas as to what you could do with that content and different posts you could do with that content. The second thing with top posts is that imagine there's a post which did really well about 3 months ago, and now after 3 months about 10,000 members have joined the community. So you could also think about resharing those top posts, highlighting the members at that point of time that ABC member did this post which did really well, and it did well because it had a lot of value for your members, and then resharing it again after 3 months so that the new members can see it and the ones that missed it before can see it again. So you could kind of use top posts in kind of resharing them again after like some time and get a lot of content ideas from that. So this is it from my end as to how you can kind of look hard enough in your group and find more stuff. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Aditya. Where can people find you to talk more about Convosight?
Okay, so just search growth and monetization for Facebook group admins. We have like a group running wherein we talk about growth and monetization strategies. So you can find me and my team there, and that's where we kind of keep on discussing how to kind of make more money from your group or engage more people with your group.
Amazing, thank you. I think that's that's sort of like the next level, isn't it, of getting that data out of Facebook groups. Something that I would definitely recommend. Okay, brilliant. So time to get our guests all back on for the panel. We've had a few questions sent in to us when we were doing the promo for this. So I'll go to those first. But if anyone's got any questions now, please do stick them in the Q&A box at the bottom. But I will go to some of the questions. Have we got Toni, Aditya and Kate all available?
Yes. I'm here.
Lovely. What I'll do is I'll get the questions and I'll just fire it in, and then you can fight amongst yourselves who's going to answer it. If I can find my notes. This has gone well today. I think next time I have to be a little bit more organised. There we go. So yeah, we've got everyone back on. Toni, Aditya and Kate. And first question is, how do you use insights to build campaigns for brands? So does anyone want to answer that one?
I'm happy to. I'll take it first.
Brilliant. Cheers, Kate.
I think, to be honest, you've covered quite a lot of it already when you and Toni were discussing. the use of insights. I think the most important thing for me as well is being able to spot trends within the group and then build out campaigns as a result of that. And especially if you're approaching brands to work with you, that is a really, really valuable way of being able to demonstrate that the content is relevant and it's going to be going straight to that customer or service user that, you know, they're wanting to target. In terms of creating campaigns, so when brands approach you and it's the other way round, you can use that information to demonstrate how effective previous campaigns have been, and also what the best times are, which obviously you discussed already earlier. But when the best time is to post, when is this going to be the most effective campaign for them? Because of course, you know, there are times on the Motherload, for example, around summer holidays perhaps and Christmas, where we will see a lower rate of posting at particular times, because, you know, they're not online because they're with their kids. So, you know, there's no point me just ignoring that insight that Facebook is giving me as to important posting times or important campaign messages, or, you know, the all of that data, as basic as it is, actually can be very powerful when working for a brand or a service.
Definitely. And is there so in terms of, like, let's say you wanted to approach brands, is there a way to search like a brand name within the group? Can you search like keywords or?
Yeah, there's a search function, but for me, less than working for brands, I try to spot topics. Okay. So, for example, you know, homeschooling has been a huge thing in our group over lockdown, and there are so many different brands that we can approach with that kind of information. You know, from the home educators themselves to you know, the brands that are offering, like Twinkle, who are offering all of that wealth of information, but they want access to our community because it's going to drive engagement to their service at the people that they really need and want to speak to. But, you know, there's loads of different ways that we do that. I mean, Toni has spoken about the top posts. That's a really good way of doing it. And also the data that you get in the insights, but also being really present is a really important thing. And knowing those conversations and knowing what you're approving, you know, you can't be too remote from it, and you need to be in the community and boosting the community all the time.
Amazing. Toni, have you got anything to add to that?
No, I think Kate hit the nail on the head there.
I think it's a really good answer. Cheers, Kate.
Yeah.
I've got a question that's just come in from Emma. We've got what is typically more popular in video content? Is it branded or is it user-generated content within the groups?
I don't think it is the type. So I don't think it's UGC or brand. I think it's the content within that post. To start with, if the content is adding value and it's engaging, whether it be from UGC or a brand, then the members will interact with it.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Do you think that just to expand on that, do you think that brands have to sort of like present their content within the groups a little bit more like what's being presented in the groups, if that makes sense?
We like to use the phrase talk to people, not at them, in groups. So be one of them. So it's all about questions, answers, open-ended questions definitely get more engagement than anything closed. And just don't sell to them straight away. Always be adding that value, and then the sales will follow that because they now trust you. And that's the way we try and get brands to work within our groups.
Yeah, and I guess with the branded stuff, I think as long as, I think if you go in there and you're putting something in there that just doesn't suit groups and doesn't suit Facebook as a whole, you know, like a 5-minute video, then potentially, it's not going to work. But if you can do branded content that just fits naturally within the group, and I think if you can look at the data, then, so let's say, you know, the average video that gets posted that gets really good engagement is 30 seconds long, then you can provide that back to the brand and say, look, why don't you create something similar to that?
Yeah, for example, we just done a campaign with Annie Paint. She posted a video recently that was a simple how-to, but it had value. It featured her product, and then she was in the comments to answer questions, and she was being interactive with the members. It got 50,000 views in a couple of, probably in 24 hours, I'd say. But because she was there talking to people, that meant that everyone within that conversation was happy to then go over to her social, give her a follow, and then that's when these members become customers.
Yeah.
I would just add to that as well that I think brands have been so used to working with Instagram influencers when we're talking about social media sort of campaigns, that understanding the power of community rather than that follower mentality is something really important for brands that they need to get their heads around, and it is a completely separate entity. You've got to be willing to engage, and you've got to understand the value in conversation, because if you don't understand that, you're not going to get the traction that you want from a campaign, and it will fold. So brand videos, going back to the question, brand videos won't do as well as user generated content if they are just a static ad. Like if they're basically, or even a video ad, as if they are just talking at exactly as Toni just said, talking at and not with, and not engaging. The purpose has got to come from the brand to think about what is the message, what is the purpose, but understanding the importance of that loyalty and trust, especially right now, especially right after a pandemic. People do not want to be sold to in the same way on social media, because it comes across too brash at the moment. Nurturing relationships, nurturing community, nurturing conversations, and becoming a trusted source is more important than ever.
I completely agree. And I think that you've got to have patience with these things, haven't you? And I think if you have patience with them and you don't go in there and just try and sell, I think you'll win in the long run.
And it's hard, Adam, because for a lot of brands, they're looking for an immediate ROI on their money, and to get that, you're not going to get it through. You're definitely not going to get it through Facebook groups. But where are you going to get that right now? Because the world is changing, and the way that we're consuming information is changing. And being able to really go back to that, I mean, it's almost like the old shop storefront for me. Like it's that old high street store where, they nurtured their customer base so well. They understood them. They would know Beryl's order from Fred's, and it's really understanding who your customer is and being able to talk specifically to that person through these channels, not just relying on an influencer to say, swipe up now. That isn't going to hit the sweet spot as well as that customer loyalty. And they will be returning customers over and over again.
I agree. And I think actually, just to add to that, I think the great thing about groups is you can actually look and listen to the conversation that Beryl and Fred are having about your products.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's valuable. Exactly.
And be part of it. The brand to pages thing is a really powerful tool for brands to be using, and for groups to be selling, to be honest. That being able to talk directly to your customer and solve their problem is like gold for a brand, and we've got to understand that as group owners, but also brands really need to look at that and harness it, because that idea of solving someone's problem is very powerful.
I completely agree. And I think sometimes brands are a little bit scared of approaching that, because it might be like a bit negative towards some of their products, but actually that's good information, because then it'll help you develop a better product. So just listen to it.
That's a really good point, actually, that brands are scared of negative responses on any social media platform. Actually, I've had a lot of brands say, well, what happens if we get a negative comment, and what are you going to do about it during the live? What are you going to do about it while the post is running? And actually, my response now is, what are you going to do about it? Because it's your brand and it's your conversation. I'm simply hosting something here. This is your opportunity to talk to that disgruntled person and their poor experience, and turn it around and say, do you know what? contact us on our page. We're going to sort this out for you. And other people are going to see that and think, God, wow, that's amazing. What an amazing brand. They came and talked and they came and solved. And, you know, that loyalty just keeps on growing.
Completely agree with you. I'm just conscious we're running out of time, so I think we've only got time for one more question. But again, I'll throw this one in to everyone. So obviously, this one's a difficult one because we've got a number of Facebook pages, so I don't want to shit all over them. But I think Facebook groups do have some really good benefits over pages. And one of the questions that came in was, what are the benefits of using Facebook groups over pages? Does anyone want to jump in on that one?
I'll try and take this one. So in one way, in one line, if I had to answer this question, a Facebook page is like you standing on a balcony and talking to your followers. It's like a one-way conversation.
Yeah.
While a Facebook group is like a hall where everybody's talking to everybody, where you're a part of the conversation. You're not the one talking to people. I mean, they just got what Toni said and what just Kate also said, that like in a page, you are the one giving the information, telling things, you know, talking about things. But in a group, you are with everybody. You're able to listen to everybody, take part, you know, engage with people. So that changes the game completely. So yeah. So that's one thing. The second thing which I will say is that Facebook groups, because they're communities, they are closed and trusted spaces. Facebook pages, as an open internet, they aren't that trusted a space for people to kind of come and share their hearts out. So yeah.
I would just add to that as well, that I think the page relationship is a lot more fragile for a brand if you're engaging with it, because if someone is disconnecting from the page, because it's only a one-way conversation, really, they will just switch off. They won't engage with it, and there's no other like source for them to look at either. With the conversation nature of a group and with the power of a group, I think what really works is that there's still enough there for them to stick around. So even when they feel a bit aggrieved because there's been a post that's peed them off, or whether they might be annoyed with me, it's come up a bit frequently recently, you know, that they won't necessarily just leave in that kind of flounce that you see maybe with people disconnect from like an Instagram influencer or a page influencer or a page brand they just don't like. And you've got no way of, you know, re-establishing that relationship because there's actually no conversation there. On a group, you're able to have that conversation. And even if it's a little bit difficult at times, they're able to see you in a different context, you know, and they might say, well, hang on, you know, they've just solved this problem over there. So maybe I'll just give them another chance, you know, because I might be a bit miffed, but that's actually quite good there. And I think that nature of community is what is so powerful within the group. As long as you're nurturing community and you're not really just using it as a closed Facebook page and talking at people. I don't understand brands or group owners who have this one-way conversation on a group. It is there, you know, and don't allow posters to post. It's there to promote community and to promote conversation, and harnessing that and understanding that importance is way more powerful than the page one-way street, like Aditya's just said.
Yeah, completely agree with you, Kate. And yeah, what Aditya referred to about it being sort of this trusted place as well. I think that's when people not let the guard down, but they feel more relaxed and they can have these honest and open conversations. And then you really do get value out of that because you get exactly what people are thinking. So yeah, it's really interesting. Sorry, I don't think we've got much time now, so I'm gonna have to quickly wrap it up before. I'm not sure if the webinar time's out at 12:30, so I'll do my best to get this finished. But just want to say thank you to Toni, Aditya, and Kate. It's been really insightful, lots of value there, because I think Facebook groups, although, you know, over 1 billion people use them, I still think it's a dark art when you're operating them. And it's very difficult to understand them, and brands don't really understand them. So yeah, you know, thank you very much for all your help on that, guys. It's really good. Kate, where can people find you if they want to?
They can search the Facebook, sorry. They can search Facebook for the Motherload Community and Podcast. We're also on Instagram. We haven't expanded like on a budget to Snapchat and TikTok. You never know. We might do it. As a last hurrah for lockdown. But you can find me on Instagram as well as Mrs. Kate Dyson.
Brilliant. Thank you very much to all our speakers. If you want to get in touch with us at Electric House, you can contact us via the website. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you want to contact me, just add me on LinkedIn, Adam Barrie. Once again, thank you to everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, Toni. Thank you, Kate.
Bye.